County Board of Commissioners General Session for September 15th, 2020. As a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being, is being recorded. We kindly ask that you maintain the same level of decorum as if we were meeting in person. Finally, for those of you that are calling in, please ensure that you have muted your phone by pressing *6. Thank you very much. We will begin this morning's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Brown.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America, and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with
liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you. All right, we will begin. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the June 9, 2020 general session, the September 10th, 2020 briefing session, and the September 9 and 11, 2020 administrative briefings.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. Thank you.
And we will begin this morning's meeting with Engineer Roberts.
Resolution number 618-20. Resolution awarding contract and approving contract bond to J&J Schlegel Incorporated for the Mernon Road Drainage Improvement Project in the amount of $1,039,899.25.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cornell Robertson, County Engineer for Everyone in Franklin County. Commissioners, this first resolution is a construction contract award with J&J Schlegel. We had a competitive bid on August 18th. We had 9 bidders, and J&J Schlegel had the lowest and best bid. Would recommend your approval.
If there are no questions, I'll move for passage of 618-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 618-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 619-20, replacement or rehabilitation of various bridges and structures in Franklin County, Ohio, declared necessary.
Commissioners, this resolution declares 2 bridges necessary for replacement. The first is along Alton and Darby Creek Road over Clovergroff Run. That's in Prairie Township. And the second is Eiderman Road over South Fork Indian Run, which is in Washington Township. This resolution allows us to move forward and begin the design process. So pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval.
I will move for passage of 619-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 619-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 620-20, report first of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Morris Road at Babbitt Road Improvement Project, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $310,000.
Commissioners, this capital improvement project is in the northeast part of the county. It's on the line between Jefferson Township and Plain Township at the intersection of Morse Road and Babbitt Road. This project utilizes federal safety funding through the Ohio Department of Transportation to construct a single lane roundabout. This particular resolution is the first report for right-of-way acquisition. It includes 1 property and the appraisal was based on fair market value.
If there are no questions, I will move for passage of 620-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 620-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 621-20, report 10th of the county engineer establishing the sum of compensation and damages for a property owner in the matter of the improvement of Reynoldsburg New Albany Road at Clark State Road in the amount of $45,458.
Commissioners, this capital improvement project is also in the northeast part of the county. It's in Jefferson Township at the intersection of Reynoldsburg and Albany Road and Clark State Road. This project also utilizes federal safety funding through ODOT, and we will construct also a roundabout at this intersection. This particular resolution is the 10th report for right-of-way acquisition. It includes one property and is a settlement that was negotiated with involvement by the Franklin County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. So pending any questions, I would request your approval.
There are no questions. I'll move for passage of 62120.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 621-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Thank you, Cornell. Let's move on to the excuse me, to the sheriff.
Resolution number 622-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with County Towing and Storage LLC for towing and impound management services in the amount of $80,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution approves a one-year contract for county towing and storage of vehicles. It also has a option for 4 additional one-year periods. It has a maximum obligation of $80,000 for the county in terms of costs, and those would be for charges for towing services of county-owned vehicles, towing of non-county-owned vehicles for evidence purposes, and the fees associated with processing the impounded and abandoned vehicle affidavits. Any vehicles towed for any other reason would be at the owner's expense. And pending any questions, we ask approval of this resolution.
I will move for approval of 62220.
Just one quick question, Kevin, or Dave, is there room for multiple towing companies, or is it just one towing company? How does that work?
This particular contract is a contract with County Towing and Storage, and it includes multiple towing companies as part of the LLC, I believe is what it is. If you give me 1 second, and I will scroll down here and tell you. I don't know if maybe Charlotte's on the line and has it quickly, but I'm looking for it here. Here it is, right here. Excuse me. This particular contract, the conglomerate, is you've got Broad and James Towing, Capital Towing and Recovery, Cal's Towing, Maynard's Towing, Eastland Towing, BM Transportation Towing, Woody's Towing, Rusty's Towing Service. And my understanding is that the county is divided into 4 zones, and the way that this is set up, depending on where the towing need is, whichever one of these towing companies is covering that particular zone would get that tow. That's my understanding.
Are any of them minority or women-owned firms, companies?
Charlotte or Major Hickey, can you answer that, or maybe?
Yes, I can answer that. One of them is classified as a small and emerging business. Part of the contract also is for them to include other towing companies so that we have sufficient coverage throughout the county. We do have an aspirational goal of 10% of the towers to be a small and emerging business or a minority business. They've already started researching the others in other companies in the county to see if there's others that will join. We are also going to review it at minimal annually to ensure that those who have requested to be added have been given consideration if they meet the criteria. So it will be a changing list, but one of the basis for this contract was to increase coverage plus increase the number of towing companies that can participate.
Great, thank you. Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 622-20 has been adopted.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Commissioner.
The treasurer.
Resolution number 623-20. Resolution authorizing an extension with Point and Pay LLC for the Franklin County Treasurer and Office on Aging's online payment system in the amount of $41,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Elise Thomas, the Budget and Purchasing Coordinator for the Treasurer's Office. The Treasurer's Office and the Office on Aging are entering into a mutual contract extension with Point and Pay. It is our online payment system for all of our tax payments. And this contract extension will be for a period of 12 months.
Okay. And then it gets rebid. Is that what
That is
happened?
correct. That's
Okay.
correct. We will open it up, yes.
If there are no further questions, I'll move for passage of 62320.
Second.
I'm sorry. Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 623-20 has been adopted.
All right. I'd like to remind folks if they could to mute their phones, just because we have a little bit of background noise there. Let's move on to economic development and planning. Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning.
Resolution number 624-20. Resolution to authorize the detachment of 0.42 acres, more or less, from the city of Reynoldsburg, case number ANX-20-20.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Economic Development and Planning Assistant Director. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Doing
Good,
well,
Jenny.
thanks.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks. This resolution is to consider a detachment of 0.42 acres from the city of Reynoldsburg to Truro Township. This resolution will allow for the removal of land from the municipal boundary of the city of Reynoldsburg. The area to be detached includes property located at Graham Road, and that's the rear of the property, which is west of Graham Road, south of Broadwin Drive, east of Jackson Street, and north of Livingston Avenue. Petition was filed by Jason Nicodemus, Truro Township Administrator, and he is on the call today if you have any questions. On behalf of the owners, the Board of Trustees, Truro Township. The Truro Township Board of Trustees own the subject property and authorized under Resolution number 2020-20 passed on June 4th, 2020, the filing of the detachment petition in accordance with Section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code. The said petition containing the required plat and an ordinance from the city of Reynoldsburg assenting to the detachment was filed with Franklin County on August 4th, 2020. Ordinance number 44-2020 was passed by the Reynoldsburg City Council on June 22nd, assenting to the detachment. The petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in Section 709.038 of the Ohio Revised Code. And pending any questions, we request your approval. And I should note that the application and the petition meets and satisfies all the criteria. And also, Assistant Prosecutor Nick Sulist has verified all of those facts, and it does indeed meet all the criteria.
Great. So this was an unusual one that we just learned about last week. Hadn't seen one of these before. Mr. Trustee Nicodemus, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'm Township Administrator. I appreciate.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is just a small acreage of land, or half acre. We realize it's part of the township cemetery that's owned by the township. And this small bit of acreage falls within the city limits rather than the unincorporated of the cemetery. And in history, we also realized that this property was zoned residential at one point, which cannot have a cemetery and a residential. Reynoldsburg rezoned it for us, but we felt for future growth and opportunity in this little bit of area, we needed to have it as part of the unincorporated of the township. And that's why this detachment has been brought forward.
I think it makes sense. If there are no further comments or questions, I'll move for passage of 62420.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 620.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Resolution number 624-20 has been adopted.
Administrator Nicodemus, can I assume that being from Truro Township with the last name Nicodemus that you are related to Dennis?
No, I am not.
Well, bad assumption on my part then. I apologize.
I get it asked quite a bit.
I wondered as well.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. All
Thank
right.
you.
We will then move on to community partnerships. I'd like for Commissioner Boyce to turn his video back on. He's very much reminding me of engineer Robertson these days, sitting in his car.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Fleet.
I apologize, sir. We actually missed fleet. So
Oh, fleet management. Did I move on? Oh, I apologize, Charlotte.
Me.
I apologize. All right, fleet management.
thank you, sir. Resolution number 625-20. Resolution authorizing disposition of personal property, including motor vehicles and equipment that are no longer needed for public use, are obsolete, or are unfit for the use it was acquired, and authorizing the Director of Fleet Management to dispose of said items by transferring title to other governmental agencies in Ohio by internet auction or selling as salvage.
Good morning, Commissioners. Charlotte Ashcraft, Director
Morning.
of Fleet Management. Hope everyone's having a good day, and I hope Commissioner Boyce has actually got in a safe location.
I am. I'm safe. I'm parked.
We need to get an American flag up behind his head there so he can complete the look.
This resolution is requesting authorization to dispose of 18 retired vehicles. The retired cruisers that can still be operational will be transferred to other law enforcement agencies, those agencies that are smaller and have very limited funds for replacement. We have a growing list of agencies asking for donations. This transfer program began in 2009, and the cruisers with high mileage, if we keep them, will last less than a year. But if we transfer them to a smaller agency that does not operate 24 hours a day, they can typically get 2 to 3 years out of them. By transferring to another law enforcement agency, we also do not incur the cost to remove all of the equipment and the decals, which sometimes that cost can outweigh the amount of money we make by selling it at auction. Those that are wrecked will be disposed of through salvage due to their damage, and others will be sold through govdeals.com. So pending any questions, I respectfully request passage of this resolution.
Charlotte, do we have any other counties or local law enforcement that we have already set up at this point, or are we are those pending?
We did just give 3 to Pickaway County not that long ago. They had a couple of bad incidents and needed some assistance. Those were ones from the last batch. I have a growing list and they contact me. And then when we have them available, I'll send out an email that says, do you still need them? Please let me know. I try to be balanced and not give them all to the same agency. We try to, spread them around as much as possible. So we've given several to Adams County, which is well south, Pickaway County, and then we've done some Perry County, as well as there was one more, Noble County. So,
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good that we do this. It's being a good neighbor and it's helpful to those smaller counties. So I'm really glad that we started doing this years ago. It's a good program.
It definitely is, and it's definitely helpful to them. Sometimes we forget how fortunate we are here in Franklin County, but hearing the stories from them as to what they have and what they have to deal with, sometimes it's that good deed that we get to do when we help them out, and they appreciate it a lot.
I think that's great. If there are no other comments or questions, I'll move for passage of 62520.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 625-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Charlotte. Community partnerships.
Resolution number 626-20. Resolution authorizing a one-year contract with the Greater Columbus Arts Council in support of Franklin County artists, arts organizations, and cultural facilities in the amount of $3,500,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dana McCrary, Administrator of Community Partnerships. As you know, in 2019, the Board of Commissioners made a $4 million investment to establish the Arts and Cultural Facilities Fund that allows us to work really in partnership with the Greater Columbus Arts Council, targeting resources to the arts community in a concerted and a strategic manner. This resolution will fund the second year of this strategic partnership with GCAC. This morning, we are joined by Tom Katzenmeyer, who is the president and CEO of GCAC. And we invite Tom to just share a few words about how we have worked together in administering the Arts and Cultural Facilities Fund. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Tom.
Sure. Thank you, Dana. Thanks again for all your help guiding me through this process. Good morning, Commissioners. It's great to see you. On behalf of the GCAC trustees and the arts organizations and artists who benefit from our grants and the funds provided by Franklin County and the city, we thank you for your critical support and ongoing strong commitment to supporting stability in the nonprofit arts sector. As I know you are aware, arts and cultural organizations are critical to education, tourism, and quality of life in Columbus. Without your support, this would not happen. Our sector represents 15,000 jobs and $415 million in economic impact locally. The Greater Columbus Arts Council is working to ensure this essential part of our community economic ecosystem can continue to provide programming and services that our community has become dependent on. It's been an unusual year, to say the least. So I'd like to take a minute or two to share with you how the Arts Council has pivoted since the start of the stay-at-home order in March, particularly in two program areas where we work to address the loss of income by artists and cultural organizations. First, we raised private funds to supplement our support for professional artist grant program and provide emergency artist relief fund grants to 428 artists across all disciplines for a total of about $329,000 to help artists meet basic needs. Second thing we did was we revised our operating support grant program timing to ease the burden of application and reporting, enable organizations to address their current fiscal reality in face of the pandemic, and to provide funding in 3 phases with award amounts in each of these 3 phases contingent upon funds available. So in June, the Arts Council awarded $1.5 million in grants in operating support. The second round of those awards will be awarded later this month. In addition, in response to the protests following the death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others, the Arts Council, in partnership with CAPA, launched a response by employing artists to create murals around the city on plywood erected in front of businesses. That included our building, the Huntington, the Ohio Theater, businesses in the Short North. The effort drew grassroots support from artists and businesses, resulting in more than 200 murals around the city since June 1st, depicting support for the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as images of unity, love, and hope for the future. All artists hired by CAPA and the Arts Council were paid, and GCAC connected businesses to artists and advocated for artist compensation. A number of other businesses, including the Heinz Company, which manages the Huntington Center, also paid artists to paint. The Arts Council now has committed to focusing on documentation, preservation, and storage of the murals, and remains deeply engaged in efforts underway to use public art to lift up the Black Lives Matter message and use art as a catalyst for long-needed and long-standing change in social equity and justice. Each year, your support for the arts is an essential piece of the public-private funding partnership arts organizations depend on. This year, however, your support is even more critical as we work to provide financial assistance to organizations which have had nearly zero earned revenue since March and ensure they continue to contribute to the health of Columbus's economic, educational, and tourism efforts. Franklin County dollars will be primarily used to fund operating support and project support programs. This will assist 25 organizations who receive operating support from the Arts Council with basic operating costs. These organizations include the largest nonprofit arts employers in the city. They've implemented widespread layoffs and furloughs, and most will continue to operate at a much reduced capacity for months to come. These organizations also support major educational programs for Columbus Public School children. These funds will enable us to continue work begun in 2019, assisting operating support grantees with capacity building, specifically developing effective risk management protocols, providing strategic guidance regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, and prioritizing board governance and relationship building. All that work started pre-COVID. If you'll indulge me for one more minute, I want to quickly list these organizations by name, as they're all critical to providing cultural and educational experiences to residents in Franklin County. Your support is significant, and I want you to understand the breadth of that support. So the organizations are Actors Theater of Columbus, Ballet Met, Kappa, CATCO, Chamber Music Columbus, Columbus Children's Choir, Columbus Children's Theater, Columbus Gay Men's Chorus, Columbus Landmarks Foundation, Columbus Museum of Art, Columbus Symphony, COSI, Franklin Park Conservatory and Botanical Garden, Gateway Film Center, Glass Access, Jazz Arts Group, King Arts Complex, Ohio Craftsman, Ohio Designer Craftsman, Ohio History Connection, Opera Columbus, Pro Musica Chamber Orchestra, Shadowbox Live, Short North Stage, Thurber House, Wexner Center for the Arts, and the Lincoln Theater. The Arts Council is also committed to the continuation of project support grants for small and mid-sized organizations, Thrive grants for organizations led by people of color. That's a brand new program that we just started. The application period just closed. We're going to be mentoring 3 organizations led by people of color, and they'll also get money from us for that program. And the Big Ideas grants for artists, which is also a new program. Project support and Big Ideas provide funding for activities and outreach in Columbus neighborhoods across the city, such as the Asian Festival, Columbus Gospel Fest, the 2020 Women and Girls Fest, Summer Jam West in the Hilltop, and the Columbus Black Theater Festival. We are incredibly grateful for the county's steadfast and long-time support to our cultural organizations, large and small, and for the funding that enables our artists and organizations to thrive and serve our community's neighborhoods, children, residents, and visitors. I want to thank Dana again, Ken Wilson, Eric, the whole crew down there. And on a final note, I want to say that we look forward to the Franklin County appointees serving on the Greater Columbus Arts Council Board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you know, what you've said to us is how important the arts is to our community and who we are as people in our community. And the social justice and the arts goes together so well. It always has, in writings, in artwork, in theater, in every way. And that you've taken this on as part of your mission means so much in this community. So I want to thank you and all the members of the board at GCAC and all of our arts institutions for taking on the cause of social justice, because it is what arts is all about. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown.
I'll just add, Commissioner O'Grady, President O'Grady, if I may.
Please.
I'll just add that, the social justice part goes without saying. I think Commissioner Brown said it well. But from a financial prudence standpoint, I think it's important that the public understand how much the creative economy contributes to our growing economy, notwithstanding the COVID-19 environment. Generally speaking, the arts pay for themselves and more. Our return on our investment is always in the black. And that's the type of strategic and prudent use of financial resources that allows us that as we come out of a COVID-19 environment to be strong in our own growth and balanced in the resources that we provide to the broader community. And so I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know that the creative economy is a substantial part of the broader equation for our economy. And maintaining stability there is very much a part of an economic strategy of prudence long term. And so this to me is a sound investment and an important investment on a variety of fronts, but most importantly for me, a financial prudence. Thanks, Commissioner Grady.
Thank you, Tom. You and I have talked for years about the importance of the arts community in the economic development structure of Central Ohio, Franklin County. And I couldn't be prouder that this year, of all years, when the economy has been so devastated by the pandemic, and the arts community's, the arts community's funding and its lifeblood has been so hard hit because of the pandemic and the community's inability to be able to participate in the arts at the level that they normally do has been so affected. Couldn't be proud of the fact that the investment that we made and have committed to over the last couple of years has been such an important part of the funding and the such an important part of what is helping to hold the arts community together right now. And so this is while we understand how important this is, it is with a great deal of pride that we also make this investment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
If there are no further comments or questions, I'll move for passage of 620, 620.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 626-20 has been adopted.
Thank you,
Thank you all.
Dana.
Have a good day. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now we'll move to justice policy and programs.
Resolution number 627-20. Resolution authorizing a transfer of non-general fund appropriations for the reentry grant program.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Caitlin Looney with the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. This is our routine end-of-year housekeeping request that will allow us to properly manage anticipated expenditures for the remaining fiscal year of 2020. We do anticipate receiving that same amount in grant revenue before the end of the year to offset this request.
Great. I'll move for passage of 627-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 627-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 628-20. Resolution authorizing a third and final contract extension with Valerie Coleman for peer support services through the fiscal year 2019 and 2020 Centers for Disease Control Overdose to Action grants in the amount of $22,000.
Ms. Coleman has been working with our agency since October of 2018 and has been an integral part of our peer-to-peer program, which links our community members who have a history of justice involvement with someone with lived experience in justice involvement, substance use disorder history, or mental health history. Ms. Coleman has been wonderful to us, and we are glad that we can bring this to you today to offer a final one-year extension. Our contracts typically allow for up to three years of contractual extensions. She's been a wonderful part of our weekly recovery management meetings, which have adapted to the current situation, and they offer them via Zoom. She's been a huge part in making sure that our participants through the peer-to-peer program do not feel isolated during this time, that they truly feel the arms of the recovery community still wrapped around them, and know that recovery is possible throughout this unique situation that we all find ourselves in. So pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval.
I'll move for approval of 6/28/20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 628-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 629-20, resolution authorizing the acceptance of a Year 2 sub from Franklin County Public Health's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Overdose Data to Action Grant for the enhancement and coordination of project strategies in the amount of $217,540.
I'm very pleased to bring this opportunity to all of you this morning. Our agency was selected for Year 1 funding by Franklin County Public Health last year and accepted in November of 2019. And we have fortunately been selected for Year 2 funding. So this will continue our programming, which includes continuation of our peer-to-peer programming, which I mentioned with Ms. Coleman's contract. It will also allow us to hire more male peers to serve the male population currently incarcerated at the Franklin County Correction Center, as well as our community members with a history of justice involvement. Again, we can't speak highly enough of that peer relationship, as it makes people feel seen, feel heard, and also they have a walking, living, breathing example right beside them during their journey that recovery is indeed possible. Another exciting part of this funding source that will be continued is our partnership with the Hope Resource Center, which is a drop-in center on the west side. And I can't tell you how wonderful of a partner they have been. Even through the pandemic situation, they never once closed their doors. They found ways to provide more services, serve more of our community members in need, and did it brilliantly. Over the course of their only 7 months in operation, they've served nearly 3,000 community members. They've provided over 2,000 personal hygiene and wound care kits. They've served over 10,500 fresh meals to community members in need, as well as providing first aid to nearly 300 and clothing to nearly 3,000 of our community members. They have taken the idea of meet them where they are and turned it into serve them where they are, and they are doing incredibly. So I am very excited that we have the opportunity to continue that work with a Year 2 award from Franklin County Public Health.
Wow. A lot of wonderful work going on. I'll move for passage of 6/29/20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 629-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Human Resources.
Resolution number 630-20, resolution authorizing a contract for consulting services for the Franklin County Board of Commissioners in the amount of $44,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rob Young, representing Human Resources. This is a contract, 2-year agreement with Clemens Nelson. They're an HR consultant based in Dublin. They have offices statewide. We've had a relationship with them since at least 2015. They've done salary surveys, job audits, training. This agreement would be for 2 years, not to exceed $44,000, so $22,000 a year. Pending any questions, request approval of the resolution.
Rob, what are they doing now this time? So is it just general services for when we need them, or is there something specific they're tasked with right now?
The most specific thing that they do throughout is job audits. which is they point factor, they use our class plan, point factor, and take a look at the duties and determine whether somebody's properly classified. That's an ongoing.
So that's ongoing? Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's ongoing. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I'll move for approval of 6/30/20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 630-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks, Rob. The purchasing department.
Resolution number 631-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with Gordon Flesh Company Incorporated for after-hours support services related to printing activities in support of the 2020 general election in the amount of $20,150.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Valnier, Director of Purchasing. As stated, our first resolution requests your approval of a contract with Gordon Flesh. This contract will secure a dedicated support technician who will be on call 24/7 for the Franklin County print shop during the print cycle for the 2020 general election. The contract will be in effect upon approval through Election Day, November 3rd, and costs will not exceed $20,150. This is a proactive measure to ensure smooth printing operations during the election. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
I think it's important that we do everything we can to ensure all that goes right on Election Day. I'm happy to move for approval of 6/31/20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 631-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 632-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with Gordon Flesh Company Incorporated for the provision of training and professional support services to the transition of printing services from the Franklin County Data Center to the Franklin County Print Shop in the amount of $26,900.
Commissioners, our second resolution requests your approval of a contract with Gordon Flesh to support the print shop and the data center in finalizing print transition activities. The county has assumed the management of transitioning yet to be triggered print jobs. This contract provides for up to 90 hours of remote support to be used at the county's discretion, as well as 2 custom training sessions to support the county's independent use of the Planet Press software going forward. The contract will be in effect through March 31st of 2021, with 1 optional 6-month extension, and will not exceed $26,900. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no questions, I'll move for approval of 6/32/20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 632-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 633-20. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,375,843.44.
Commissioners, our final resolution requests your approval of 94 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 9 out of 16 eligible POs totaling $77,187.14 are being presented for award to 7 women business enterprises and 2 minority business enterprises. This represents 56% of the eligible PO volume and 69% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
I'll move for approval of 6/33/20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 633-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a good day.
Thanks,
You too.
Megan.
Thank you.
The Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 634-20. Resolution authorizing an adjustment in the per diem charge for the housing of prisoners.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Telerik with the Office of Management and Budget. This resolution would authorize an increase in the per diem rate for the housing of prisoners from the current rate of $88 that was authorized by Resolution 678-17 to $100. Similar to the increase approved in 2017, this change will be phased in over a 3-year period beginning January 1, 2021. The adjustment is needed to assure the appropriate costs are recovered from political subdivisions for those arrested and confined for violations of municipal ordinances or out-of-county offenses. Based on a review of 2019 actuals, the average cost per day for the housing of prisoners was $95 per day based on capacity of the facilities, or $115 based on the average daily population. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move for approval of 63420.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 634-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 635-20. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission for collection in calendar year 2021 and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Commissioners, this is the annual resolution that's required by Section 5705.34 of the revised code for the collection of the necessary property taxes in the following year. This annual authorization and certification to the county auditor is required to be completed before the first day of October. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
I'll move for approval of 63520.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 635-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Resolution number 636-20. Resolution extending travel restrictions for county employees who are traveling on behalf of the county and to limit in-person meetings in response to COVID-19.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Long, Deputy Administrator. Back in March of this year, at the very beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, this board took very early action, recognizing that limiting county travel and in-person meetings and large gatherings could help limit the spread and exposure to COVID-19. Back on March 17th of this year, the first county travel restriction and meeting restriction resolution was passed to be revisited on or after June 1st. And then on June 9th, the similar restrictions were extended to be revisited on or after September 1st. And so we are back before you with a recommendation to extend those county travel restrictions and meeting restrictions through the end of this calendar year, and then to revisit that again on or after December 31st. So again, as a reminder, in terms of the past resolutions that the board passed, there is a waiver available that if there is a particular reason that an agency or department has a need for county travel, there still is the ability to do so. But generally speaking, county travel restrictions would remain in place as in addition to meeting restrictions. Pending any questions, would recommend your approval.
I'll move for approval of 63620.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 636-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. So do we have any journalizations today, Clerk Henderline?
No, Commissioner, we do not.
All right. Well, that concludes the business of today's general session.
John, before you do, could I say something? We had a law.
I was going to say, I did forget to do a moment of silence. So if you would please, Commissioner Brown.
I was just going to mention the loss of our former county director of seniors, Tony Carroll. And I think we ought to remember that she was our director for 25 years, maybe something like close to that. And she's been gone for several years from our employment, but she died recently, and I'd like to remember her.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that, Commissioner Brown. I intended to do that at the top of the meeting, and there were texts coming in regarding some of the things that we've been trying to handle here over the last couple of days. And so I absolutely completely slipped my mind to do that. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Director Carroll began here in 1984 at the beginning of the Department of Aging, and was our first and only director for going on 30 years. And so, she is certainly somebody to be remembered. And so she did a fantastic job all those years while she was here. She was hard, so it was certainly hard to replace, and somebody very difficult to follow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. Mark, did you have any questions for us today?
One quick one, two-part question. Based on the travel restriction resolution, is it fair to assume that the three of you still intend to do your Tuesday business meetings and Thursday briefings electronically through the end of the year? And are you lobbying, it's probably not the right word, but are you pushing at all for state lawmakers to extend that? Is my memory correct? I think that provision ends at the end of the year, right?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah.
I have a general government committee meeting of the County Commissioners Association of Ohio this week, and that topic will be discussed. It came up at the last meeting that we had, and interestingly, it was raised by some of my smaller county colleagues from the Republican Party, who brought up the idea that we need to push the legislature to not just extend it, but to potentially make it a permanent, permissive, permanent thing, to allow for boards of commissioners to meet virtually or by video conference on a more permanent basis if we were to choose to do that. I've actually, while I've been out campaigning this year, not necessarily too often leaving my own home, but we do a lot of this type of campaigning. I've been actually asked for commitments that we would continue to do this type of public forum with our general sessions. And I said, that I think it's fantastic, because if you notice, when we're doing these meetings, we have at least I think a more consistent number of members of the public that are joining us for these type of video conferences than generally come to our general sessions on Tuesday mornings. When we have general session in public, in person, we may have a big crowd, we may have an inconsistent crowd, but when we have these things, there's always at least 50, 60, 70 people on these.
I think it would make sense to incorporate video ability when we're meeting in person. I've talked to Tyler about it, and we think it makes a great deal of sense to incorporate Zoom so people can listen and so that it holds us more accountable. It's far easier for people to get on the Zoom than getting downtown to the courthouse to a 9 o'clock Tuesday morning meeting. So even when we're back meeting in person, to do some form of open video so that people can hear and see what we're doing, I think makes a great deal of sense.
Mark. Or allow for a commissioner who may be on vacation or out of town for some reason, but still wants to attend the meeting, just because they're not physically in at the courthouse or in Columbus or whatever, or if a commissioner's has another business thing that takes them out of town, but they still have the ability to be on a 9 o'clock Tuesday morning call from a video conferencing standpoint. They just can't physically be at the courthouse at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning.
Right.
Video conference.
Mark, this is Kenneth Wilson. Actually, we need an extension before the end of the year. Current legislation sunsets December 1, or when the public health emergency were to be lifted, whichever would happen first. So of course, it's going to be likely the December 1 date that we would need an extension from.
Yeah, and we'll have 2 to 3 meetings after December 1. So we would need an extension before that. That's right. I just was having a conversation with Lauren Rummel, our government affairs director, about this the other day, last week. And it is an agenda item with my general government committee meeting, which is our legislative committee, for lack of a better, terminology, that on Thursday. And we will have this conversation, and hopefully we'll make a recommendation to the board of directors of CCAO, which I gotta believe the legislature will take the conversation very seriously. So,
yeah.
Anything else?
That's it. Other than I will mention that Earl Hopkins, our new county reporter, is on the Zoom this morning, and he'll be taking the reins on Thursday, I believe. So all the hard questions will come from him.
Hey, Mark, have you shared with Earl the greatness that it is to work with the county commissioners?
That's all I've been talking about for weeks, really.
Okay, outstanding. Okay, he's ready then.
If I'm
All
not
right.
mistaken,
Welcome aboard,
if I'm not
Earl.
mistaken, Earl might remember working with us from his a former life.
With Shannon.
Yeah.
He did mention that. So
he's being Dean Earl
Well,
worked.
have a good day, everybody.
yeah, I'm sorry, Dean Earl Hopkins. He'll be, if you see that name pop up on your Zoom, that's a reporter. So give him full access, obviously.
I've actually tried to start his video a few times as we've been speaking. He must have stepped away, or I'm not doing something correctly. But
anyway, well, we'll look forward to working with him. And
Hey,
we'll miss.
I just got word. My apologies. Yeah, I just got word. Like I just been trying to find the mute button, but for some reason my audio on my computer hasn't been working. But I'm right here with y'all.
Well, we look forward.
Welcome back to county government, Earl.
Thank you, sir.
So will I see the two of you this afternoon, Mark? You and Earl both?
You'll see at least me. I'm not sure. Maybe Earl might have another assignment. I'm working on that particular story that is campaign related, so I won't dwell on it here. Unless you all happen to be coming out to the jail tour at 11. I'll see you then.
No, thank you. All right, take care, everybody.
thank you, everyone.
Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody.